Board of Water Supply, keeping Oahu refreshed for 90 years.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the last BWS board meeting of the year. Time goes by so quickly. Today is December 12th, 2019. It's the regular meeting of the Board of Water Supply. First up on our agenda, items requiring board action. First is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on November 25th, 2019. I hope you've all been able to review them and take a look.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion, corrections, amendments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, the minutes of November 25th, 2019 are approved. We have just a few items for information here. First is the meter transponder unit, or MXU, replacement project. Chair recognizes Mr. Mike Fouquet and Ms. Kathleen Fatima.
Good afternoon, Chair and board members. Today we'd like to talk about our project, the meter transponder unit, as we call it, the MXU replacement project. This is actually for our AMR system. The MXU is a component of our AMR meter drive-by reading system. Okay, we're going to talk about the scope and the purpose of this project. But first of all, what is an automatic meter reading system? Our automatic reading system is when our data collectors drive by homes. Actually, our meters are all in the ground, and from there, they're able to pick up what the meter readings are. Okay, the advantage of the AMR system is that we are able to remotely read what the meter readers are, and we're also able to automatically transfer the data into our billing system. It reduces the need for personnel to manually go out there every month and gather the meter reading, and it reduces human errors in doing manual reads. Okay, our system consists of, we have approximately 160,000 meters across the island. To read this, we break it up into 20 cycles, so there's approximately 80,000 meters per cycle. Generally speaking, in front of Ernie is what we have in the meter box. It consists of three components. The bronze part down here is the meter, where the water actually goes through the meter. This is a register that registers what's been going through the meter. And this is the transponder, or the MXU. This transmits the data to our data collectors. Okay, and this is what we're talking about. It's a change out of this unit. We're not talking about the change out of the meter. We're not going to touch the meter. So when we do the change out, our customers will always have service. Their service will not be interrupted at all. But we just talk about the change out of the MXU here. Okay, here's the scene. On the left is just a cross-section view of what it looks like in the meter box. Okay, because this has a radio, which I want to put as close to the lid of the meter box so that the signals can be transmitted to the drive-by reader. Yeah.
So is that unit going to be elevated, like what you show in the drawing, some rod
Yes.
or something that's going to be?
We'll have a rod with a little shape here, and it goes down. We're going to stick that rod into the ground at the right elevation. We'll tighten it up, and it'll be right underneath the lid.
Okay.
Okay. The rod is important because what happens, we have found out, is that the signal generally comes up. So sometimes when, for whatever reason, it falls like this, the signal's going sideways and we got a weaker signal. So the rod is important, we keep it upright. Okay, otherwise we may lose the signal. That's when you get misreads.
Maybe Mike, you can show how it's going to be connected to the UCR and the meter.
Okay.
Just the plug.
We have all this in the meter box right now. We're going to change this out. Okay. Then the way we're going to do it is relatively simple, relatively fast. We expect this change out to be done within 20 minutes per box. Okay, the contractor, we have to take pictures. He has to take pictures of the reading so that we know what the read says when he does a change out. And the way we change it out is, it says, this is a touch coupler, what do you call a touch coupler? Who played with this? Somebody played with this, okay. You disengage this, okay? Take this out, bring the new one in, plug it in, put the rod on, put it back in. Okay, the contractor also have to scan. We have barcodes in here so that we minimize the manual input of the data into our system. So you have to scan these barcodes. So we get the proper image, proper numbers, and he has to scan the readers on this side, so everything's coordinated. Okay, anyway, he plugs it back in, the little rod there, put it in the ground. Take pictures again afterwards so that before and after we have documentation. That's it. Off we go to the next one. Okay, so we anticipate this will be done 20 minutes tops. Okay, so if there is dirt in here, he has to just clear it so he can put this in. Okay, but he's not going to clear the whole meter box out, but just clear it sufficiently so he can get his work done. So it should be fast, it should be quick. Okay, we have this right now. Okay, yep.
MXU is battery driven?
MXU is battery driven, correct. That's what's in there. We have a 20-year warranty on this. 10 years is 100%, then it's prorated down from years 11 to 20. So basically we're saying this should have approximately 15 years or so, then we may have to go back and start changing this out again. But it's better than what we have now, because most of the MXUs that we have in our system, when we was first put in back in the early 2000s, had a 5-year life, and it's spun, what, 15 plus years, and some of it is still providing signals. However, because its life has pretty much been used up, that's why you start seeing a decline in the transmission of the signals. So that's what's going on. And when we did our investigation, why we were having the drive-by reading rate was starting to fall, we found out the MXU was the problem.
That how long the battery lasts?
Well, we got a 15-year, got a 20-year warranty.
Oh.
Okay, it's a 20-year warranty. And then, it's just a little bit more information about it. This gives off a 2-watt signal, which is an FCC requirement, license signal. What we have in there is a 1-watt. So a lot of times we get interference with other people. So this has a stronger signal. So when we did make the change out, when we ran a pilot for this, we did a change out. I'll talk about it. We did Chinatown.
He asked the stats to show you on
Yeah.
the pilot. We did a cycle 12.
Cycle 12. Anyway, we were in Chinatown. We changed out Chinatown. When we left Kaliki Yard, we started picking up reads. So,
Maybe do your presentation.
I'm sorry.
He was getting into this.
Okay, like again, the advantages of the changing out to the MR, advantages having an automatic media reading system. Again, we can get the data, we can transfer the data all automatic, and the human element is reduced as much as we can, so that we don't have that kind of mistake. One of the things that we found out is that sometimes we get fat fingers, and so we push the wrong button very easily. So that's to minimize all that kind of stuff. Okay, I talked about the components of the system. We have 160,000 meters. And this is why we did it. We found out back in about late 2015, our reading rate was starting to decline. And it's starting to climb to the point where you got the follow-up reads that had to be done, got very, very burdensome. You got too much. So we knew something was wrong, and that's when we went in, we checked it out, and we found out it was the MXU that was wrong. So to test it out, we didn't just gonna take any one, we decided to try this one. We picked an area in Chinatown. The reason why we picked Chinatown is because that's where the meter readers, our data collectors, were having a very difficult time getting the reads. So we picked Chinatown, what we thought was the most difficult location. Okay, understand Chinatown is part of Cycle 12, and Cycle 12 is Chinatown, it goes all the way up to Manoa Valley. But we just picked Chinatown for now to run a test, to see what we can do. And this is what we found out in Chinatown. In 2016, we were having the problems, so we changed it out. First was the first 300, 350 in Chinatown, and the reads were improving, so we decided to expand it to all of cycle 12. And since we did this in cycle 12, in 17, and in 18, and in this year, you know, our reading rate has gone up to about 95%. Okay, back in 17, when we started to see things, see it improve with cycle 12, we also decided we made a conscious decision to, anytime we have problems with the MXU, that we're gonna change it out to what we have here. So far, up until today, we have already changed out roughly 47,000 MXUs, okay? And the reason why, let me go a little bit further and show what happened in cycle 12. This is the number of meters that we did not read in a month. So you can see in 17, when we changed out the MXU, it dramatically dropped. So that's another reason why we decided to go forward with this project. The benefits are there. We want to gain the benefits as fast as we can. We changed out 47,000 already, and those are paying off already. So this project, you know, we got roughly 8,000 meters per cycle. My field staff, you know, we got a lot of main breaks, so we got to adjust the main breaks, so we don't have the force to, you know, do all these kind of change out. Not only main breaks, but service leaks and regulatory requirements. So we want to accelerate the pace so that we can gain the benefits of this change out. That is why we're having a contractor do it. This project is roughly 80,000 or 10 cycles. It is all across the island. Okay, purposely done in odd cycles so that we can, the workload for the follow-up can be spread out more. It's not a time when certain times we get a lot of follow-up because we haven't changed out versus sometimes we don't have. So we just purposely did it this way and we spread it across the whole island. In consideration of this project is the installation time of the MXU. Also the read and the billing cycles is also consideration, the contractor's performance, the public perception, and this project requires a lot of coordination with the various divisions, not just the field operations division, but other divisions because IT is involved, customer care is involved, finance is involved. So there's a lot of we got to coordinate with everybody, otherwise we will run into problems. Again, the parameters of this project is that after we install the MXU, we expect to have a drive-by rate of at least 98%, okay, of the ones that we install. We require the contractor to work no more than 2 cycles at a time. This is because we don't want him all over the island, for one thing, and secondly, because of coordination between the next dot, no meter installation during the meter reading period. So in other words, when the meter reading is being read, we don't want the contractor to be working in that cycle because that will cause a lot of misreads. So while the data collectors are doing the reads, the contractor cannot go in there. That's why we need 2 cycles. The 2 cycles must be coordinated so that the contractor is always working, because we don't want to pay downtime for the contractor just waiting for things to clear. Again, coordination is with everybody else in the division is critical. Okay, to address our parameters, we are going to, the contractor will work extended hours. He is able to work from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week. Because we have so many MXUs that needs to be changed out, and because our time requirement of him to install it, he needs the hours to make the change out. Okay. Again, cycling of the scheduling is important because, again, we don't want the contractor to we don't want to be paying downtime for the contractor. Always keep them working. And lastly, because we have so many to change out, our CM, which is EK&A services, would perform daily quality assurance and quality control work, okay, because they'll be doing a lot on a daily basis. Okay, to also address parameters, we have liquidated damages in place, not just for the contract itself, but we also have liquidated damages for the cycles. So the contractor must complete the cycles within the time that we specify to him. we're gonna bring this project, we're gonna bring the project in on budget. And one of the things that is really important, because we have things such as the extended hours, the communication to the public and everybody else, so they understand what we are doing out there, so they don't get excited. So to talk about the communications part, I'm gonna call Kathleen up here.
Thanks, Mike. Board Chair, members, manager, thank you so much. So as Mr. Fouquet mentioned, we have to have an extensive community outreach because for a number of reasons. And wait, whoop, wrong button, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. We have 3 concerns that we want to address with our communications. We are going to be working from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., which is far outside normal work hours for most city projects. We are also concerned about people using this as an opportunity to scam our customers. We're always out there with that message to be aware if people ask you for money outside of the normal parameters that we have established, and that the change out is only for the part and not for the entire meter. And that's very important because people get worried that we're changing the whole meter, and what is that going to do to their water bill or their ability to access water. So we started with manager and deputy manager announcing this at a cabinet meeting. Next coming Tuesday, we will actually be briefing the entire cabinet and the mayor on this project as well at their request. We've already started briefings with council members, and we will be continuing that tomorrow and through next week. And we also made announcements at neighborhood board meetings. You have a copy of the flyer in front of you that we handed out at board meetings, and then we will continue that at January's board meeting as well, just to ensure that the word gets out there to the public. We will, in January, also email the flyer to all of our Oahu state senators and representatives as well, just so they're in the loop. And then we'll have flyers made available at all satellite city halls. We developed an intranet page for our employees. Our employees are an important and critical part of our messaging and to ensure that they have accurate information. So we've developed this site that has all of the pieces, all the communication tools on it. We are doing training internally for our employees, for any members that interface with the public. And then we did we're going to have an article in our News to Use, which is our internal messaging system. And then we just sent out an article in Kawaipuna, which goes to our retirees and employees. Our contractor, the contractor will be training. Mike and his team will be working with the contractor on January 8th to do an extensive all-day training, not just how to replace the parts and things, but also communications with the public. They will be doing a door hanger. I apologize, we don't have a copy. It hasn't been printed yet, but they will be walking the neighborhoods that they're working in about 1 to 2 weeks prior and putting these notices on people's doors. This is standard operating procedure, though, for any construction project that we do. We go out and we reach out to the community and let them know we're going to be around replacing water mains or laterals or whatever it is. In this case, it's going to be this component. We have also developed a little business card, which we gave everybody a copy of, that has our contact information on it. Yeah. And we will be giving these to the contractors because really it's not their responsibility to answer customer questions. That's our responsibility. So we have set up a dedicated phone line, 748-6500, specifically for this project. We assume that we'll probably get a number of phone calls after 6 o'clock at night when people see somebody out in the sidewalk area by their meter box. If that were me, I'd be curious as to what they're doing. So we have a number, so people can call us, and myself and Stella are the 2 dedicated individuals that will be carrying this phone for 12 months. Up until 10:30 at night, we will be answering it and answering any questions that people have. We've already gotten some phone calls from people on this topic from our newsletter that we sent out in our bills, and we're doing our best to address anybody's concerns on that. But this, we believe, will give the community a strong measure of support and knowing that we're addressing their concerns and that this is a legitimate BWS project. Again, with customers and community, we sent out an article in our Winter Water Matters. You get a water bill, you would have seen that, the dedicated number. And on our homepage, we have a button on our homepage dedicated to this. It takes you to a page with all the information on the MXU on it. The other thing we will be doing starting in January, the project is scheduled to start, I believe, January 10th. The guys will go into the, out into the field to start changing these out. We will be able to post the areas that they're working in. And what we currently do also is each Monday, one of my team members posts on social media, on Facebook with maps showing where we're doing any construction work. So we will be able to do the same on this project as well. So people will know when we're in their community doing this work, which we think will also help keep people from worrying that somebody's trying to steal their meter. Media, we're gonna have a news conference set for January 9th here in our boardroom. And we invite, if you are able to join us, that would be great. And the manager, our Mike Fouquet, and our contract project manager will be here to answer questions. And then finally, these are our various outreach materials, of which you have a couple samples. And the contractors will be wearing vests with their logos on the back, and that is a sample of the badge that they will all be wearing. So they're easily identified by the public. And World Construction is the company that's going to be doing the work. Any questions on either mine or Mike's? Yes, Ross.
Sorry, not a question, but just a comment. There's an open invitation to you or anybody from the board that wants to come to our utility coordination meeting that we have each month. So it's actually next Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
on 6th floor in the Fosse Municipal Building. So if you want to present on this, or in the future, if there are other projects that are very broad in scope that you want a forum to share information with, we have the other utilities there that are there.
Oh, that's great.
Along with other city agencies, we have state agencies, including Department of Health, and then we have consultants that attend too, so.
Great, thank
It's
you.
a regular meeting.
Thank you,
Sounds
thank you
great.
so much
Thank
for
you.
letting
Thank you.
us know.
All right,
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
thank you. Any questions from either Mike or Kathleen? Okay, hearing none, thank you very much for the presentation,
Thank you.
especially for the show and tell there from Mike. Show and
Yeah.
tell. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda here is the status update of groundwater levels at all index stations. Chair recognizes Mr. Barry Usadel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Let's see, for the, from December, we have only one index well in low groundwater status and caution, that is Punaluu. Kaimuki is actually out of low groundwater status. It just dipped in last month. Punaluu is about a half a foot into the low groundwater level of caution. The pumpage for the month of November was 134.8 million gallons per day. Kaimuki is out, Punaluu is still in. 134.8 million gallons per day is the pumping production. Still in abnormally dry conditions, and the National Weather Service is still forecasting an above normal rainfall through May because of persistent elevated sea surface temperatures in the climate modeling. And that's my report.
All right, members, any questions? All right, thank you, Barry, for the report.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the water main repair report for November 2019. Chair recognizes Mr. Mike Fouquet.
Main break report for the month of November 2019. We had 20 main breaks in November, which kind of like, if you look at the graph, it kind of like quote back to normal, so to speak. You know, it's a lot better than what it was back in August. Didn't have no main break really jumped up at me. We did leak detection work for 29 miles, and in November we did not find any leaks from that survey. Any questions, concerns?
Members, any questions? All right, hearing none, that brings us to the end of our regular session.
Thanks, Mike.
And before I entertain a motion to move into executive session, just wanted to wish all of you happy holidays, season greetings. We'll see you in 2020. Is there a motion for?
Motion to recess? Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to enter into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, let's take a short recess.